Hi, this is Ernest Lee, author of Common Sense 2, The Liberty Pledge. This is Chapter 1, Common Sense 2, The Liberty Pledge, written by Ernest Lee, 2014 to 2015. The cause of America is, in a great measure, the cause of all mankind. Those who expect to reap the blessings of freedom must, like men, undergo the fatigue of supporting it. Thomas Paine. To sit back hoping that someday, some way, someone will make things right is to go on feeding the crocodile, hoping he will eat you last, but eat you he will. Ronald Reagan. How we got here. I'm not sure exactly when I first became aware, then alarmed, at the condition, status, and direction of our nation. My astonishment nearly left me unable to act or respond. I was overwhelmed as I allowed myself to fully acknowledge the waste, corruption, and abuses of power that seemed to just spring up from all around me. The first question I asked was, when did it happen? Then, how did it happen? I also spent time in denial, thinking it is impossible for it to have happened in America. I went through several stages of disbelief, shock, then quickly moved to anger, then just as quickly to confusion and despair. Too much was wrong. The problems seemed overwhelming. No solutions seemed possible. Have you experienced the same emotions? Or are you just now becoming awake to the truth? The United States of America exists in name only. Every basic founding principle, right, and liberty has been corrupted, damaged, or taken from us. I suppose we should have expected it. Why would any of us think that history can be ignored? The only way to keep from repeating the same mistakes is to study and then learn from history. So what does history tell us? History tells us that most civilizations have a lifespan of about 200 years before they implode. Once again, American exceptionalism shows in our very age as a nation. It is a testament to the strength of our Constitution supplied by our genius founders. The Constitution, while not perfect, is not badly flawed. It is men that are flawed. The founders knew the weakness, evil, and greed of men and feared those traits where it concerned establishing a centralized government. They agonized over the delicate checks and balances outlined in the Constitution, and for over 150 years, the United States of America grew and prospered due to limited federal government. Two of the framers, James Madison and Thomas Jefferson, reflected on the Constitution in their later years and came to the conclusion that they, the collective body of men responsible for writing the Constitution, hadn't put enough specific language in the document to ensure protection of the people against a federal government that could grow too large, too powerful, with the potential to rain tyranny down on the citizens. Jefferson and Madison were troubled by this, but agreed on two things. One, they had done their best. And two, the people could be trusted to rise up and put things right. But we haven't done that yet, have we? Have we waited until it's too late to act? We must pay homage to our founders because the grand experiment of establishing for the first time in world history a constitutional republic for self-governance of the people, by the people, for the people, produced the greatest nation the world has ever seen. The recognition of certain rights granted by God were the foundation of this experiment. By letting the principles of liberty, freedom, and personal responsibility combined with a free market, hard work, and very few regulations or government restrictions that could limit personal growth, what was unleashed and established, not just for an elite few, but for any dedicated individual, was untold growth and prosperity as individuals and as a nation. So what has happened to the United States of America that was the greatest nation ever established in world history? We the people allowed our federal government to get out of control. We forgot that our rights, freedom, and liberty need vigilant watching and protection by us, the people. Being a citizen is not a spectator sport. We elected and put our trust in our representatives. Our trust has been betrayed. We, the people, forgot to pay attention. We trusted without verification. In essence, we betrayed ourselves. This has happened slowly over the last 100 years. In the last 20 years, the process of destroying this nation has been accelerated, with the killing blows coming faster and faster, with each blow stronger than the last. Our current administration is the most lawless in our history, but the source of our troubles is much deeper than this current gang of self-serving thieves in Washington, D.C. The biggest threat to our continued existence as a nation is that so few of us are aware of the extent of the problems that have been created. Not enough of us are aware and understand that drastic measures must be taken to save our nation. A further complication is the widespread apathy that knows no bounds within our educated, parentheses, to the problem, close parentheses, misinformed fellow citizens. It is my hope that this writing will help raise awareness not just of the problems, but also the steps I believe we must take to restore our constitutional republic before it is lost forever. Here's a quote. I hope we once again have reminded people that man is not free unless government is limited. There's a clear cause and effect here that is as neat and predictable as a law of physics. As government expands, liberty contracts. Ronald Reagan. Another quote. America will never be destroyed from the outside. If we falter and lose our freedoms, it will be because we destroyed ourselves. Abraham Lincoln. A third quote. Government, even in its best stage, is but a necessary evil. In its worst state, an intolerable one. Thomas Paine. Back to text. We the people face our greatest challenges since our nation was formed. Through all our struggles in history as a nation, we've been winners because we have rallied together. Our strength comes from our diversity and ability to tolerate each other, stay out of each other's way unless help is needed. That is when we Americans really shine, with our willingness to help those that need assistance, and we're always ready to cheer for the underdog. There is something unique about the American spirit that goes back to our founding, and despite the efforts in recent years to kill the American spirit, it remains. Our spirit as a nation is wounded, bleeding, and some would say we are on the verge of collapse. Should we fail as a nation, it will be because we've been forcibly divided, and a house divided against itself cannot stand. We may be down, but we are far from out. This booklet is dedicated to the American spirit, our veterans, and our future generations. Let our valor-filled past remind us that as a nation we can accomplish anything, including turning this nation around, because we are Americans. Critics, I'm sure there will be many, will read this work only to bash it for being simplistic in nature. Let me address this. What I have written is my opinion. My influences in forming these opinions include a wide range of sources, all of which are readily available for anyone to read. Some of my research material was written centuries ago, some within the past few months. The conclusions I have drawn, the plans I outline are mine. It is your choice to agree or disagree. My opinions, reasoning, heart, soul, sarcasm, and experience are reflected and contained within these pages. What I hope you appreciate the most in this booklet, if you appreciate anything at all, will be my passion for this nation, what it stood for at its founding, what it's given me, and what it offers you and our future generations. As a nation, our future can be better than our past if, and only if, we can restore all that is good about America while ensuring its rekindled prosperity with action taken by we the people now. Let's look at where we are as a nation. Tens of thousands of pages could be written about what is wrong. This work will not address every problem. I'm not sure a single person exists that could actually point out all the problems. I also don't hold these pages up as the one and only solution or path that must be followed or else. This work, like myself, is imperfect. The reason I believe in these pages is because I have talked in depth to thousands of you over the last few years about how you feel where our country is concerned. Most were complete strangers. All shared one opinion. This country is falling apart and something must be done, but very few knew what to do about it. So instead of just listing problems, I am setting the stage for solutions to the problems we face as a nation. Another quote to close the chapter. The future doesn't belong to the lighthearted, it belongs to the brave. Ronald Reagan. It's the end of the first section of Common Sense 2, the Liberty Pledge. Please find the video marked Section 2. Thanks for listening, and remember, thelibertypledge.com. Share that with your friends.